So I want to touch on what Matt LaFleur had to share regarding Jeff Hafley and basically his overall assessment of how Jeff Hafley has been as the Packers defensive coordinator in his first season with 3 games remaining for the Packers. Matt LaFleur has a podcast with Matt Schneidman. There's been a few episodes so far. It's very interesting. And this is from the podcast, I believe, yesterday. I'll try to leave a link in the description if I can. But Matt Schneidman, who writes for The Athletic, asked Matt LaFleur about how he thinks Jeff Hafley has done so far this year. And let me read Matt LaFleur's response. He says, quote, "I think he's done an outstanding job, and I think what the mark of a good coach to me is, can you keep evolving and are your players improving? And I think that's what we're seeing, especially defensively. You know, it's year 1 of a new system. There's going to be a learning curve. We have a couple young players that are rookies that are contributing quite a bit. And so naturally, the expectation is that they're going to get better throughout the course of the season. I think we're seeing that. So it's not just Hafley, it's our whole defensive staff, how they've come and are working together and maximizing our players' ability and putting them in good positions to have success." And Matt Schneidman, when setting up the question, brought up different statistics for the Packers. 8th best scoring defense so far this season. They are 7th in sacks, even though they have the 28th pressure percentage. They've gotten to the quarterback a fair amount of times overall with sacks. And I think that, you know, when you're Matt LaFleur and you make the decision to move off of Joe Barry, there were things that you wanted to see differently, ways that Joe Barry operated that it looked like Matt LaFleur was sort of done with the way things had been done. And at the end of the day with Joe Barry, you know, you look at the overall statistics last year, the Packers were the 10th best scoring defense in the NFL. And so, you know, the way that Joe Barry was talked about going out, you'd think they had, you know, a bottom tier defense when it comes to points allowed, but they were still 10th best in points allowed. I do think there are lots of things that Joe Barry didn't do great. I think that the defense was too inconsistent, too passive, and I think that we've seen a big change in lots of those things from Jeff Hafley so far this season. He's a lot more aggressive when it comes to third downs, I would say. He seems to bring blitzes more often there and disguise things differently. And it's not like Jeff Hafley blitzes at a super high rate. It's one of the lower rates in the NFL, but he's very selective of when he does decide to blitz. And so if you're LaFleur, you have to be pretty happy with what Jeff Hafley has done in his first year as a defensive coordinator. You know, the Packers they're 10-4, partly due to the defense. And this is also without Jair Alexander playing nearly half of the games. Jair's only played in 7 of 14 games this season. And so when your best corner is sidelined and the Packers still have the 8th best scoring defense in the NFL, that has a lot to do with Jeff Hafley coaching up the defense, his philosophy, things like that. And the Packers' run defense is way better than it has been for a long time. They're in the top 10 there in different defensive rushing statistics. And so I do think all in all, it's been a very good year for Jeff Hafley as a first-year guy. The fact that people aren't out here yelling for Jeff Hafley to get fired shows you that he hasn't struggled very much. I think the only times the defense has struggled has mostly been against some of these top-tier offenses. And looking back, Jair Alexander didn't play in either Lions game. He didn't play in the Vikings game. And those were a few of the games where the opposing offenses put up a lot of points. And so hopefully Jair comes back soon. And I think that we could see better performances against some of these top-tier defenses. And when it comes to playoff time, you know, adding Jair is going to be a huge benefit to this defense. And hopefully he can stay healthy. But I do think all in all, LaFleur has to be excited with what Jeff Hafley has done. And considering it is his first year, you'd expect that going forward, year 2 in lots of systems, teams are much better just because they have the full year of learning under their belt. They can just go out, play fast. So I think it's been a good year for Jeff Hafley in his first season here in Green Bay. That's all I have for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.